You think you're intelligent, but you're probably not. And that's not an insult. That's a diagnosis. See, here's what nobody tells you about intelligence. It's not binary. You're not either smart or dumb. Intelligence has 9 levels. 9. And most people, even the people who consider themselves the smartest in the room, are operating at level 3 or level 4 without any awareness that there are 5 levels above them they literally cannot perceive. It's like a colorblind person looking at a painting. The information is there. Their brain just can't process it. But here's where it gets darker. The people operating at level 8 and 9, they look ordinary. They don't seem smart at all. In fact, most people find them quiet, maybe a little distant. That's the whole point. By level 8, intelligence becomes invisible. It becomes untouchable. In the next 11 minutes, I'm going to walk you through all 9 levels. You're going to see exactly where you are. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. But first, I need to explain why you've been blind to this your entire life. The system keeps you at level 3 intentionally. I used to be one of them. Not even level 3. I was level 2, thinking I was level 5. I'd read 3 psychology books and think I understood human behavior. I'd memorized some philosophy and think I was enlightened. The embarrassing part? People around me believed it. Because at level 2 consciousness, you're actually very good at looking smart. You can quote things, you can sound articulate, you can impress level 1s and 2s around you, so you get validation, and validation feels like confirmation, but it's not confirmation. It's a trap. Because when everyone around you is level 1 to 3, you become the smart one. And once you're the smart one, you stop looking for growth. Why would you? You're already smarter than everyone else. So you plateau. For years, sometimes decades. Hanged when I met someone operating at level 6, and I remember the exact moment I realized I was blind. We were having a conversation, but he was answering the question I should have been asking. He was reading me like a book. He saw 3 moves ahead while I was still thinking about the current position. That's when I started researching this, and what I found changed everything. Because it's not about IQ. Most people have the raw processing power. It's about levels of awareness, levels of perception. And once you understand the 9 levels, you can't unsee them. You see why certain people dominate, why others stay stuck. Level 1 is the unconscious. These are people who are intelligent by accident. They have instincts that work, but they have no idea why. A level 1 person might make a good business decision, but they can't explain the logic. They say, I just had a feeling. They don't realize that's maybe 10% of real intelligence. Level 2 is the aware. They've figured out intelligence exists as a spectrum. They read some books. They listen to podcasts. They think about how people work. But their awareness is still surface level. They know things. They don't understand systems. A level 2 person reads about Machiavelli and thinks, so you should be strategic. Here's what's dangerous about level 2. They're confident they understand more than they do. They've learned enough to sound smart, not enough to actually be smart. This is where most personal development influencers are. Both parties feel validated, but nothing real changes. Level 3 is the systematic. This is where the jump starts. A level 3 mind understands that intelligence operates in systems. They see patterns. They can predict outcomes with some accuracy. They understand cause and effect. Most intelligent people stop here. They think level 3 is the top year. A level 3 mind reads Sun Tzu and thinks, I understand strategy now. They think they can predict human behavior, so they manipulate. They think they're playing 4D chess, but every level 4+ mind they encounter sees the manipulation immediately. I once watched a level 3 person try to manipulate a level 6 person. The level 3 person thought they were being clever. The level 6 person just smiled and did exactly what she wanted anyway. The level 3 person never realized they'd been read the entire time. They thought they were winning. Level 4 is the contextual. This is where you understand that context changes everything. A level 3 mind thinks, smart people do X. A level 4 mind thinks, smart people do X in context A, Y in context B, and Z in context C. This is the first level where you become genuinely unpredictable because you're not applying the same strategy everywhere. You're reading the context and shifting. A level 4 person adapts and calls it being strategic. This is the level where people start understanding real power dynamics, not through theory, through observation. Level 5 is the predictive. This is where intelligence becomes genuinely dangerous. A level 5 mind doesn't just respond to context. They predict context before it arrives. They see 3 moves ahead. Not like chess, like life. So they're not reacting. They're positioning. What separates level 5 from level 4 is this. Level 4 asks, what does this situation require? Level 5 asks, what situation am I creating by my response? This shift in perspective is invisible to lower levels. 6 months later, it's brilliant, but they attribute it to luck. Here's the real test of level 5. Can you sit in a meeting and know exactly who is threatened by whom? Purely by watching micro-expressions? Can you predict what someone will do 3 days from now based on what they said today? If yes, you're probably Lev L5+. Level 6 is the systemic. These minds don't just see one system. They see how multiple systems interact. Economy affects relationships. Relationships affect business. Business affects politics. Politics affects consciousness. They understand nested systems. A level 6 mind is watching the macro while executing the micro. While level 5s are predicting the next move, level 6s are predicting the entire game. Same information available to everyone, different frame of reference. At level 6, intelligence becomes harder to see, because they're so integrated that they appear almost ordinary. They don't broadcast their thinking. They don't need to. People at level 6 are the ones who change the game without seeming to try. Level 7, 8, and 9 are where intelligence becomes almost philosophical. Level 7 is the paradoxical. These minds understand that opposites can be true simultaneously. You can be ambitious and detached, strategic and spontaneous, aggressive and gentle. Most people think this is contradiction. Level 7 minds understand its integration. Level 8 is the invisible. By this level, intelligence stops being visible. These minds are so integrated that they appear almost ordinary. They're the person in the room nobody notices who somehow shaped the entire conversation. Not the loudest, the most aware. Level 9 is the transcendent. I've met level 8.5 maybe, but level 9 would be someone so integrated that they've moved beyond the concept of intelligence itself. They're operating on instinct that's so refined it looks like genius. They just see. That's level 9. Notice the pattern. Levels 1, 2. You don't know what you don't know. Levels 3 to 4. You know what you know, don't know what you don't know. Levels 5 to 6. You know what you don't know. Levels 7 to 9. You've accepted you'll never know everything. Each level requires unlearning the previous level's certainty. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest. Which level do you think you're at? And be careful here. Most people overestimate by at least one full level. Can you predict how a conversation will end before it begins? Can you walk into a room and immediately see the power dynamics? Can you know who's threatened by whom without being told? If yes, level 5+. Can you hold 2 completely opposing truths and let them coexist? That's level 7+. Most people reading this are at level 3, and that's not bad. You're smarter than 80% of the population, but you're also in a tier where you think you're smarter than you are, which means you're not growing. The first step to climbing is accepting where you actually are. If you're at level 3 right now, here's what climbing looks like. Level 3 to 4. Stop thinking you understand the system. Start noticing contexts. Ask, what does this specific situation require? Level 4 to 5. Think beyond the moment. Not just observing what is, observing what will be. Level 5 to 6. Integrate everything into one coherent worldview. Stop collecting knowledge. Start understanding connections. Level 6 to 7. Let go of needing to be seen as intelligent. Because intelligence becomes invisible, you become genuinely indifferent to whether people recognize your power. Most people won't climb, not because they can't, but because each level requires giving up the comfort of the previous level. You have to feel stupid again. Most people choose comfort. They choose winning at level 3. But winning at level 3 is losing overall. Here's what happens when you really understand the 9 levels. You see how most power advice is level 3 thinking. Be ruthless. Never explain. Dominate everyone. That's level 3 trying to climb. Actual power at level 6+. You don't need to dominate. People follow without resistance. In our next episode, we're going to talk about why ruthlessness is a level 3 trap. But first I want you to do something. Think. Where are you actually operating right now? That's your ceiling right now. And the good news, ceilings can be broken. Subscribe for episode 3, Why Ruthlessness Destroys You.